Welcome to part 2 of my winter plant update series. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, make sure to click on the link in the description below. In this video, I will be talking about all the plants in the bottom half of my greenhouse. Here's my global green pothos, and actually when I bought this one, a plant friend of mine, Richie, warned me about watering this plant regularly because if I don't, the leaves will turn yellow, and as you can see right here, this leaf is already showing some signs of underwatering maybe, and also this other leaf. But I'm actually really having a hard time balancing or making sure that this one is watered properly, not underwatering it or not overwatering it, especially during winter time. Here is my pothos Enjoy, and most of the leaves look fine except for this leaf at the back here. It has a brown spot which may indicate too much direct sunlight. So I decided to move this plant away from the window. And here are my two-piece lilies, which I love so much because they tell me when they need to be watered. I actually haven't watered these for a long time, but they still haven't shown any signs that they're thirsty. And I'm so happy that these are surviving because last year my peace lily died during winter. So for me, it's really figuring out when and how much to water my plants. And here is my syngonium. Some of the stems are longer than the others, which is probably because it's reaching for the sun. I have to rotate this every now and then. Here's my all-time favorite plant, which I love so much because of the color and also because it tells me if it needs watering. And so far, I also haven't watered this for a long time, and the stems are still sturdy and rigid. I'm waiting for this plant to droop a little bit so that I can water it again. Here is my biggest air plant. And here are my other smaller air plants. I have killed some air plants in the past, especially during winter, but what I did differently this year is I placed my air plants in my greenhouse and I also minimized watering them. I minimized spraying them with water and also minimized soaking them in water. And they look fine. Say hello to my Aglaonema. I also love this plant because of the leaves, of the color of the leaves, and the pattern on the leaves. I noticed two new growing leaves here. This is one, and here's the other one. Can't wait for them to unfurl. This is my Philodendron Brazil, well, my smaller one. These are actually cuttings, which I rooted in water and transplanted in soil. But I noticed that the leaves are losing its variegation, so I probably need to give this more sunlight so the rest won't leave their variegation. Here's my neon pothos plant, which I bought 1 or 2 years ago and converted to leca. This plant has been doing fine, but I recently moved the location of this plant and I noticed a lot of yellowing leaves. It might be because of the change in location or it might be because it's winter time, I'm not so sure. But hopefully come spring and summer, this plant will be thriving again. Next up are my prayer plants, and this first one is actually the survivor, I think, of all my prayer plants. It's not thriving, but it's surviving. So if you see inside, there's a new leaf growing, but I think this one was growing during autumn and I think it stopped. But yeah, this one is surviving. This next one is kinda surviving, I guess, but I've already cut some of the dead leaves. But this one is still alive, so I hope we make it until we reach spring and summer. This last one I dubbed dying because if you can see right here, the leaves are drooping, but the soil is wet, so I'm thinking I must have overwatered this one. I definitely did, and so I don't know what to say anymore. And lastly, here is my terrarium, and the plant here is definitely dead, and it's my fault. It's actually really my fault because I've ignored this terrarium for the longest time, and there. And these are all the plants in my greenhouse. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to click that like button so that I know if you like these kinds of videos. Also, make sure to subscribe and click that notification bell to get notified of the next part of this series. See you in part 3!